Walmart is allegedly looking to get rid of all, quote, bulk and large food items. So if you're looking to stock up using rice and beans from Walmart, you might want to get a jump on that. We got an update on that, as well as a bunch of other updates coming from you guys from all over on food shortages and things missing. We also have an update on the Elon Musk and Donald Trump conversation last night on X. And the conniption that the people on the left are having over the whole thing. In case you don't want to watch the 2+ hours of it that I did, I will give you a summary on kind of what happened and the lawsuit and the stuff that the European Union was doing about that, and just craziness all around. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. Before we dive in, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people get into solid investments like gold, silver, and platinum. If you want physical metals instead of promises of stocks and companies that really don't serve our interests, then you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. They'll answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, so the conversation between Elon Musk and Donald Trump was a big deal. Was a big deal, and is going to be a big deal today and going in this week. We're talking more people watch this than any of the presidential debates. Big numbers. Between 7:47 p.m. and 10:47 p.m., President Donald Trump's space, which is kind of how they did it. They didn't do it like a live stream. It was like in a space. I don't know what spaces are yet. I was there, but I wasn't sure where I was. Between those 3 hours, Donald Trump's space received 73 million views. During the same period, there were 4 million posts about Elon Musk and President Trump's conversation on X, generating a total of 998 million views. Elon Musk also quipped in, combined views of the conversation with Donald Trump and subsequent discussion by other accounts, now over 1 billion. So, not 1 billion people, but let's just say a lot of people watched, a lot of people engaging and discussing. Nothing too, new. There really wasn't much new from Donald Trump. I think the biggest things that were out there was, one, I haven't ever heard Donald Trump say that he was going to get rid of the Department of Education. I believe this is the first time I've ever heard him say that. I don't know. Maybe he has said it somewhere else. But Elon Musk was kind of egging him in that direction, and Trump did kind of say, because Elon was asking him about cleaning up the government, getting more efficient, how to do that. Was there going to be a commission on government spending and that kind of stuff? And Trump did end up talking about shutting down the Department of Education as an example out there. They were talking about the president down in Argentina. It was an interesting conversation between Elon Musk and the Trump about environmentalism and Elon's take on oil and trying to communicate the importance of renewable energy to Donald Trump. I don't think they came to an agreement or anything like that, but it was interesting just having an adult conversation about that, of differing viewpoints and kind of what went on with that. Speaking of adult viewpoints, Harris Walt's campaign, which is just a weird campaign name. Anyway, sent this email out to all of their supporters or potential supporters. Right now, Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump live on Twitter. We're not calling it X. If you've noticed, so far in this video, I have been forcing myself to say X. And I'm willing to do that now because of this email from Kamala Harris's campaign. We're not calling it X. Well, you know what? Suddenly, I feel like I want to. I want to call it X now. I don't want to call it Twitter anymore. But continue on. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help re-elect Trump. He's using his purchased platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so he's interviewing a presidential candidate, basically. Crazy. But it gets worse, because it wasn't just the Kamala campaign, which you kind of understand they're going to take any shots they can. But the European Union decided to get involved, which you're like, why is the European Union getting involved in a presidential campaign in the United States? And that's a good question. But hours just before the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and former President Donald Trump were set to break the internet. And it did break the internet. It was delayed by a little over a half hour because of apparently a large denial of service attack that the liberals couldn't just let this happen. They had to try to derail it somehow. Just like somebody hacked the Donald Trump campaign, and the government immediately knew that it was the Iranians. Sure. Still don't know who killed JF Kennedy, but of course it was the Iranians who hacked hours ago. Yeah, anyway. So before this stream happened, the EU Internal Market Commissioner, and if that doesn't sound kind of horrifying and remind you of people doing that in the 40s and the 30s, I don't know if you know your history well enough. Market Commissioner Thierry Breton has thrown a temper tantrum, seemingly mad at Musk's unwillingness to bend the knee at his censorious demands by daring to allow the orange man bad, literally Hitler, to speak on the only uncensored platform that remains. Specifically, Breton wrote, "I am compelled to remind you of the due diligence obligations set out in the Digital Services Act of the European Union." So, somewhere on the planet, somebody is going to speak things that we don't want our population to hear. Doesn't that sound like the biggest Karen move of 2024? He said, "This notably means ensuring that all proportionate and effective mitigating measures are put in place," whatever that means, "regarding the amplification of harmful content in connection with relevant events." Man, this was written by a lawyer, a British lawyer nonetheless. "Including live streaming, which, if unaddressed, might increase the risk profile of X and generate detrimental effects on civil discourse and public security." Wow. There are some times where you almost kind of need some curse words to describe these people. How do you pretentious snob? That's a non-curse way of saying it. Absolute pretentious snob may have generate detrimental effects to civic discourse. Please. My services and I will be extremely vigilant to any evidence that points to breaches of the DSA and will not hesitate to use the full use of our toolbox. This is written by a guy who's never picked up a toolbox, clearly. Including by adopting interim measures. Not measures, but interim measures, right? If it be warranted to protect EU citizens from serious harm. What did he think Donald Trump was going to say? I mean, like, is Donald Trump really that powerful that he can, like, just say something and willing viewers in the EU can suffer serious harm? Wow. What a tool. All right, so that has happened. In that hack by the Iranians on the Donald Trump campaign, do you see any kind of systematic thread? Donald Trump almost being assassinated after being hit by legal action, and then he suddenly gets hacked, by Iranians. They will stop at nothing to stop him. And then he gets on to do an X thing, and suddenly this massive cyber attack comes. It's just like every single time. It's like the Truman Show, right? It's like the Truman Show where, like, things mysteriously happen to stop him. Let's hop into your reports out there. Love and Tales Homestead, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is, Pennsylvania. Walmart had no cottage cheese and sour cream. If you guys have updates that you want to send in, please use the word update in your comment. Make sure it's some kind of information that you know firsthand, or you talk to somebody who has firsthand knowledge of it. If you give me a heads up on a news story or something like that, that's helpful maybe. But usually I've seen it already. If it's more obscure, then maybe I haven't. But Laurie says, Western New York, small town. It's not a sanctuary town. I am seeing cracks in the food supply here for the first time since the cough. I also am alarmed by the number of non-English speaking people in our stores all of a sudden. I can't help but wonder if that's why there are food shortages, more mouths to feed. Our store shelves look just like yours. And like I said, we got coming up a big report that's pretty eye-opening, that a worker at Walmart's saying that they're going to be changing their strategy to take bulk items off the shelf, like 20-pound bags of rice, which a lot of us have used pretty heavily to stock up on, right? Len says, we were in Sam's yesterday and got eggs, which had a limit of 2 per membership. Haven't seen limits since the Rona. We got 2 18-count pasture-raised eggs. Limits on eggs, friends. Limits on eggs. It's like the Soviet Union all over again. Except this time we get to experience it. Isn't that wonderful? Indie Girl says, Meyer in Mishawaka, Indiana. Whole milk has been out of stock for 3 straight weeks. Angela, canned corn in Topeka, Kansas, Walmart, gone. If you can't get corn in Topeka, Kansas, there is definitely something wrong with the system, isn't it? I get it. It goes to canning factories elsewhere. And yeah, anyway, but still, you can't get corn in Topeka, Kansas. Yikes. Spectre says, Dinty Moore canned food is completely gone for the last 2 months in the 2 Walmarts I go to now in Southwest Texas. I don't know if it's just these 2 stores or everywhere. I just saw Dinty Moore beef stew at my Walmart this past week, but I haven't been looking for other Dinty Moore products out there. Let us know what you guys are seeing at your stores down in the comments down below. OE says, our Aldi in Lorain County, Ohio has been out of half and half for 2 weeks now and very little butter. We're seeing that butter shortage here too, for sure. Vlad says, steady run on wireless lead slinger seeds in my area. Very rural area, Trinidad, Colorado. Very few choices for hundreds of miles. People tend to plan ahead and beat the trend here. Get ready. When you have a friend named Vlad telling you to pick up your freedom seeds, you might want to listen to your compatriot, right? Might want to listen to your compatriot. We've talked about how the ammo shortage is about to get really real because China has stopped selling us gun cotton, which is what goes into those shells. Modern day shells use gun cotton as the primary propellant inside freedom seeds, okay? And we're not getting it. And people are like, oh, well, you know, other countries export that, like Germany and stuff. It's like, yeah, except they import it from China, and then they repackage it, and then they export it to the United States. And if they're not getting it from China, they're not going to be selling it to us either. So it's going to really impact us significantly. The civilian market of freedom seeds is going to dry up in the next number of months. And what are they doing with all that gun cotton? Just wonder what they're doing with all of it. They're helping their buddies take over Eastern Europe, aren't they? And preparing to take over another portion of Asia. Dragon Lady says, mid-Michigan here, my local Walmart had the 20-pound bags of rice on clearance last week. Well, that's good news. That's a good chance to snap those up. When I inquired why, the clerk said that they were getting rid of all large bulk food items. They're putting them on discount and they're not going to restock them. That's problematic. If that is more than just that one store there, that's going to make getting stocked up a little harder. Sure, there's Sam's Club and Costco for people with memberships, but for people without memberships, Walmart was a really cheap way to get stocked up on rice and beans. And if they're going to get out of that business, that's going to be a problem. Be thinking ahead, friends. If you want to get stocked up, rice and beans, please go ahead and get them. If you're not ready to put them in buckets, you're not ready to put them in Mylar, get the packages anyway and keep the packages dry and, until you're ready to repackage them into Mylar. Is it optimal? No. Is it fine? It should be. QN says, went to Sam's in Chattanooga, Tennessee Saturday. And the only frozen vegetables they had were the broccoli, 1 gallon, and 1 gallon of good quality olive oil was almost $40. Absolutely nuts. Olive oil is out of control, of course, because of the shortages due to the bad harvest over in Europe. So that's happening. If you guys want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. I'm going to be bringing somebody on from Genesis Gold on over the next couple days, so we'll be having a chat with them about some things. If you guys have any questions that you'd like me to shoot at the folks at Genesis Gold, pop them down in the comments down below. Make sure you use the word update somewhere in there too. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.